the best of democracy, but it is still better than military rule. At least in a democracy, you can say no. They can put 3 people for you as governorship aspirants and you pick one. But in the military, they just send anybody to you. You have no right of choice, no right of refusal. So for me, I'm not a fan of military government. But those in power, it is them that is causing this military government by negligence of the people.
Let's take a cue from what played out in Guinea-Bissau, before the coup and all that. We were told that instead of the result, because it happened a day before the result to be announced, and we even have the election observers still on ground in the soil of Guinea-Bissau when the coup played out. And then some persons were of the opinion that the incumbent knew that he's going to lose the election, and that was why he called on the military to take over and all that. You also shared a
that was what Goodluck Jonathan said, that it is the incumbent and Bando that invited military to take over. Understand me?
So what does that portend?
Well, maybe he's afraid of being probed, being sent to jail by the opposition. Because once an opposition comes, the first thing is to probe the government is taken over from.
And you think the military doesn't have the power to do such?
No, since he is the one
that invited them,
that appointed them. Understand? So they are friendly foes. Understand me?
Can we say the same of what is playing out or what played out during Lajorina's tenure in Madagascar before he was asked by the military?
No. It's a different case. That one was a youth protest.
But he also called on the military to say, help stop the youth from the protest.
Sure.
And then we saw the, reverse.
But the military participated in the protest because power belongs to the people and the people have said no.
Why are we having this military takeover, military intervention,
bad governance,
protests in Cameroon, for example, after the election that took place just last month? We were told that over 100 persons lost their life because they wouldn't want Paul Biya to return back. If you go to Tanzania, there was also protest because the people who said they don't want the president to be there. In Tunisia, it's playing out again. Why are we having all? Is it that Africans are becoming aware of the way things should be, or what is really playing out?
It is bad governance. It is bad governance. And if you remember the former Prime Minister of South Africa, Peter Botha, he said that the black man doesn't have intelligence to rule themselves. And that's what is happening up to today.
When you say they don't have intelligence to rule
themselves. That's
what okay, that was what he said. But it's more like you share in his line of thought.
If you say what's happening there, that's everywhere, understand? If you are good, you don't need to put the opposition in prison.
Prior to this time, before the scrambling and partition of Africa in 1884, 1885 Berlin Conference, we have in this part of the world, we have empires, we have dynasties, we have people, prominent men, prominent leaders ruling their people, and they were able to hold it together. So what really changed? And also before now, after we gain independence and all that, we can also talk about great men in Africa that people most times do, point to when they want to make their own reference, a reference to them as great men that have dignity and they were able to deliver for their people. What really changed? And at what point they got it wrong?
Up to today, people still talk about Tanzania as the country of Nyerere. Understand? Because he left a legacy corruption-free. He never built a mansion. Talk of Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia. Understand? These are people who fought for their people and left legacies for their people. They are not thieves. Understand? M.I.M. Opara, the premier of Eastern region. The Eastern region comprises the 11 states now, but he never built a personal house. It was in 1984 that friends contributed money to build house for him. So these are committed, dedicated people. Understand? So they are a different breed from what we are having now. In the pre-colonial days, institutions work. Understand? And the council of Obas control the Oba. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
So, but here you see dictators. So it is civilization is going down the drain on a daily basis, which is very, very unfortunate.
When you say civilization, were we not civilized before now? Africa is the cradle of civilization. We know what played out in Egypt. Every other thing, actually, straight to us. So when you say civilization is what is going down,
it's going down. It's going down.
At what point do we get? When exactly do we get this whole thing wrong? Because if we're saying that people that we have before now, the nationalists that we have before now, laid good legacy, what happened? I ask this question every time because sometimes, if you check out what is playing out also in the world, you find out that it's not like parents who gain wonderful training and education. Greed.
Greed. It is a product of greed and love of money. Understand? It is greed and love. That's how I have mentioned the M.I.M. Opara, who ruled without building his own house. Understand me? Sadona, that's Amadou Bendo, the same thing. The prime minister, they never built mansions anywhere. Understand? These are simple people. So for me, greed is the reason why all this are happening.
All right, without wasting much time, let's get to Uganda, where we learned that Bobby Wine and his team were beaten. And the reason the military gave for them to carry out the beating was the fact that they were found somewhere where they're not supposed to be. They were found having an illegal gathering, against the time they're supposed to, or beyond the prescribed time for gathering in Uganda. Please help us walk around this place. Recall that Bobby Wine was he was the first runner-up in the 2021 election, 2021. And all that.
So they are just trying to bring up excuses to harass, intimidate Bobby Wine and his supporters. Because Museveni has made Uganda that a one-man country. His wife is in government, his daughter is in government, everybody is in government.
A family business now.
And he's even proposing his son to take over from him any day. So we are not going to witness a free, fair, credible election. We are actually going to see what happened in Cameroon happening in Uganda.
So you're saying that the January 15, 2026 election day, might not really come out free and fair?
This is a way of rigging the process. Elections are not only rigged on the day of the voting, it is rigged before by harassing, intimidating the opponents. So that's where Museveni is going now. On that day, you can see people will be afraid of coming out to exercise their franchise because there will be tension everywhere.
Okay, we go to another country now, Kenya to be precise. We learned that there are plans to unseat William Ruto. And some people are already calling for major. The likes of Rigathi, Gachagua is also pleading with another political party, ODM, for them to form an alliance to unseat William Ruto from the presidency. What do you make of this? And do you think at this point that, the likes of Kalonzo, whom they've been calling on to say, come, let's join force, let's push this, let's see how it's going to be. Do you think that they are going to form or make a headway with this? Juxtapose how it was playing out in your country, in Nigeria, where we have so many political parties talking about possible measure or even coalition. And at the end of the day, it's more like we're not seeing it coming out or even pushing forward to unseat the incumbent.
For me, it is still, in Nigeria, it is still ending the day. Okay. But in Kenya, William Ruto has seen that he is becoming more popular by the day. Understand? Because of some unguarded utterances that he had been making, or the way he quelled the riot and so on and so forth. So, and he on his own part is not letting go. He had wanted that to form a coalition with Odinga. Understand? So he is also looking for support. And the truth is that democracy is far more developed in Tanzania, in Kenya than even in our own country. Understand? Because they realize that they cannot do it that alone. So the opposition are calling for unity. Ruto is also fighting that to get people on his own side.
Why is it that in Africa, the only thing on the mouth or lips of political elected officials is 2027? Don't we have a year 2025, play out? Because check it out, in Kenya, they are all talking about election.
The
In
next
Uganda,
election.
the same thing. Although Uganda's one is better, it's closer because it's January 2025, 2026, I beg your pardon. In Nigeria, they are talking about the 2027 election. And, it's more like it's taking away the mind of the people elected from governance to politics.
When you run out of ideas, understand, you begin to focus on the next election, because for me, governance ought to continue till the day of the election, because election is supposed to be an appraisal of somebody's stewardship in office. Understand? When you are campaigning, you campaign with what you have done. Then the people will now do a kind of a referendum, understand, and now make their choice based on this candidate develop deliver on his campaign promises. This is what should determine elections. But when you forget working for the people, it means that you want to rig the election.
But now you made mention of William Ruto trying to, form an alliance with
Yes.
Odinga. Now, do you think that former Vice President Kalonzo will ever look at forming an alliance with William Ruto? Because this is where the whole problem is coming. When we're looking at whatever thing that Gachagua talked about, he said that the president is doing everything within his powers to make sure that he brought the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka back to be on his side.
He needs support. He knows that his voters are slipping away. So he wants to get the former vice to his side, so that with his own support, the canal team. Understand me? So that's what's happening. It now depends on what he wants to be remembered by.
Okay, let's go to Sudan. In Sudan, there is this revelation made available by a group of doctors, talking about, or they've accused the paramilitary rapid support force, RSF, of raping at least 19 women, where confirmed that 2 women were already pregnant in the war-torn country. I recall also that RSF have been accused of war crime within the El Fasher district in Darfur. What do you have to say about this? These are people who are fleeing. Remember, they are fleeing the war-torn zone to a safe haven, but they were caught in all this.
This is what happens in most of the war-torn countries, because there's no law and order. It's not just in Sudan. It happens that's everywhere. It was happening in Liberia when in the war between Samuel Doe and Chastendo. It happened in Sierra Leone too. So anywhere there's war, it's always happened. And for me, UN has a right that to protect such victims.
What is AU doing in this war? What's the African Union doing in this? Because this is more like a civil war between the military of the country and another paramilitary group who believe maybe they are aggrieved. Recall the war started in 2023 where the vice president was trying to contend with the president, and boom, it's now into a full-blown war to the point that people are being raped, people are being killed, and so many other war crime activities are playing out.
The issue is this: AU has become non-existent.
But they were able to talk in Madagascar. They were able to sanction the military that took over in Madagascar over the coup.
And what happened?
They boycotted them. So why wouldn't they speak or talk about what is playing out in Sudan?
Making statements without implementing it doesn't make any meaning. And that's why even Qatar and America are now intervening in Congo DR Sudan issues. But I believe that African problems should be solved by Africans. But right now, we don't have influential heads of government. Understand? All we have everywhere are just puppets. Nobody is respecting each other.
When you say we don't have influential,
we don't have influential head of government in Africa. Assuming that Olusegun Obasanjo was the president of Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger wouldn't have done what they did.
Wouldn't have exited.
Sure. They would have not, but because he has respect. When Obasanjo was the president, or there was the head of government of one of these southern African countries who was on a visit to Nigeria, his government was overthrown. He told the man, go back and take over your government.
So what do you think people play or allegiance to? Is it him as a person, or the fact that he was once a former military ruler before coming back as a elected president? It
depends on your character, your reputation, at least what people knows you for. If you come in through a disputed, manipulated election, nobody will have respect for you. Understand me? If you come in through a rigged election, nobody will have respect for you. It simply shows that even your people don't like you.
And that is what you think is playing out now.
That's what's happening in Africa.
So okay, let's propose a solution, Dr. Peter. Africa is a great continent. So what do you think we should do for us to regain the integrity and maybe the honor or respect we're supposed to have?
One, we should give power back to institutions instead of to the people. That's where it should start. Giving power back to the institutions. Let institutions begin to work, and let individuals begin to work inside those institutions.
Do you think that will be possible where people are already pointing fingers to possibility of neocolonialism with the invasion of the Western Bloc, or rather foreign entities trying to steal mine the mineral resources of Africa just to enrich themselves in their pockets?
For those theories, for me, is neither here.
If you check out what is playing out in DRC, for example, and what is also playing out in Sudan, sometimes the people raise alarm of the fact that they have a United Nations weapon proliferated into the war-torn country and all that. And also, we are not going to take out the parts where people have been accused, or countries, of trying to, fuel the issue of insecurity so that the illegal mining of mineral resources can continue.
I'm not doubting that about 30 years ago, natural resources has led to assassination of presidents in Africa. It has led to taking over of governments in Africa. But this is happening because, one, we've not put our house in order. Understand? We have not put our house in order.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Peter Anosike, for being part of today's African News. This is how far we can go on the News to Press of Time. We sincerely appreciate your presence.